Let there be light. This year, I've gotten serious about YouTube. 2020-25 is my year of diving in. And one of the steps in that process is I want to get serious about my recording environment, which includes my lights and my backdrop. And as you've noticed, I've upgraded all of these different things, and there's been a bit of an evolution. So we're going to talk about that, what I've done, give you a little behind the scenes look into some of the projects that I've been doing to make this environment better for recording. So let's dive in. I've got a bit of an unconventional office, and that means I've got a bit of an unconventional setup. So I'll share with you what I'm doing, and I'll have links in the description below if you want to explore any of the specific ideas that I've done. Originally, I had 2 sets of fluorescent lights in this office, and sometime last year, the ballast in the back started to go out. One of my podcast interviews, it went out, and I had trouble with it for several months after that. So I had a lighting issue, and that created some problems. So I tried to compensate, but ultimately I had to just redo the lighting system up top. So instead of replacing those fluorescent lights with a new ballast and trying to fix it, my wife had an idea. So she had some recessed lightings from another project, and we made some recessed lighting holders, and we installed them above. So my wife and I, we set up some new lights here. That got me thinking, I wonder if there's any recessed lightings that have Bluetooth control. With Bluetooth control, that allows me to use my phone to give myself more control over the light. So instead of just on and off, I can actually control each individual light in terms of the brightness, the color, and a variety of other factors, so that I can create the perfect lighting setup. Piggybacking on her work, I decided to go in and find those, buy them, install them, replace the ones that she set up with the Bluetooth versions, and then add some more. So I've ordered these Bluetooth lights here. These are recessed lights. The ones I installed before were that my wife helped me install, are just dumb lights. So I put one of the Bluetooth ones in over here. Currently, I got 5 recessed lights for the back lighting. So that's the 5 here. And then for the front, I've got 6 lights. So as you can see, I've got the 4 lights up there, and I'm planning to add probably 2 more today, and maybe a 3rd one in that far corner. So I'm going to add 2 more just to kind of give this darker area a little bit more light. I can control each one independently via Bluetooth. So if I want to do some interesting things or play with the lighting, I'll have a lot more control to pretty much do whatever I want. I simplified the backdrop. If you noticed before, it kind of started somewhat simple, and then I added more things and it got more complicated. It had a shelf, and then things slowly accrued on that shelf. So I've taken that shelf out. I painted the background, and then today I painted the wall. I went ahead and painted the backdrop, but I realized I missed a spot. I forgot to do this little strip here on the edge, but I want to include that when I do my shot just to give it a little bit more of a interesting depth. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that now. All right, that was easy. Gotta let it dry and do a second coat using the Avermedia P5, which is up to 4K. I have it zoomed in a little bit so it cuts out parts of the background. It's a great camera. I bought the camera because most webcams sucked, and it was really the best webcam on to finally come out. Once it came out, I did some research on it. I was like, this is the camera I want, and it's been great, and it's continued to be good. It's a good camera, and I've enjoyed it, and it's what I'll use for the foreseeable future. Switch to an iPhone 13 just so you can see the difference. Hello, this is a test. This is what the lighting looks like with my iPhone. An SLR would really be great. And that'll be something I do sometime in the future, get a real nice camera, and then that'll really help the lighting pop in a way that this camera is limited. Let's talk a little bit about the history of my backdrops. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the oldest video that I could find. This is a clip from an interview I did with my friend Toby Bloomberg 8 years ago, and you can see the background is dramatically different. That's the same office. I had these little shelves and it was just plywood back there. Here's another clip. You can see how much this has evolved over the years. This is a different angle. This is 5 years ago, so you can see the backdrop change. My wife installed this wood paneling back here. The lighting isn't the greatest, but I had a Microsoft webcam. It wasn't the greatest either. Here's one where the lighting's a little bit better, so you can see the backdrop. It's got that wood plating and then a few decorations. So it's simple, like I have now. So I've definitely evolved. My lighting on me looks pretty good. Here you can see my wife put this wallpaper in. I got a few books there. I got my BB gun in the corner. This is 4 years ago. I also was using Zoom to record. I switched to Riverside. One of the reasons I switched to Riverside was by having a better camera that shot better. I wanted to have a recording system that actually recorded at a higher quality. So that's one of the reasons I switched. Here's an interview I did with Jason Tyne. You can see the background. The lighting's pretty good on me and the backdrop. My background is getting a little bit more crowded. This looks like it might be the better webcam. By this time, I'm using Riverside. You can see the quality's a bit better in terms of the recording quality, lighting good. It was my interview with Julia Starr that my lighting went out. So you can see beginning here, this looks normal, and then something happened. That light up there, you can see it went out, and things get a little bit whacked. So I had trouble with that. And if you watch some of my videos earlier this year, here's an interview with Sarah Musgrove, and it was not working. The lighting is really hot on my face and there's nothing behind me. I didn't want to let perfection get in the way, and I just kept producing YouTube videos. So I started getting serious this year, and I didn't want to stop because my lighting wasn't perfect. So I did some videos, and here's one. The lighting isn't great. It's pretty bad, but that's all right. The content's good, and it was a good practice for me. You can see the backdrop. I stripped things down, so I was in the process of transitioning. The shelf's gone. I installed the TV that's behind me here. And so I'm beginning the process of transformation. I did this video. The lighting's a little bit better because I was putting in some more lights to compensate. Not great though. All right, you can see this video. Sarah lighting's getting better. It's working out. So in January, I did this video, and you can see this is me painting. You can kind of watch that and get some of the transformation. And then you can see down here on the right, the backdrop painted, and then you can see the lighting starting to get a little bit better here. All right, so I have this interview with Teresa Ward, and I got the new backdrop, the plain wall. The lighting's getting a little bit better, but it's got some issues. So a little hot on my face, a little hot in the background. So I think I had a few of the recessed lights up, but I still had more to go. Then I have an interview with David Wittenberg, and you can see the backdrop. My wife put this wooden panel on the left and this little bit of decoration. The light's a little bit hot on my face, but we're getting a little improvement. I do this video, and you can see, okay, now we're getting somewhere. I got nice, good. It's a little hot in the background, but I'm getting some nice shadows and layers on me. I do another interview or another episode of the podcast. I got this one. I actually really like the shadowing. Looks good. And now here's where I am. So I've got good mix. I can control it quite a bit. Here's all the lights off. So that's just my computer monitors here. I can turn them all the way on. So that's all the lights all the way on. And this is kind of where I've landed for recording. So it's a little bit dimmer, and then I got a little bit of color. So that's everything on. I have a lot of controls. I can turn individual lights up or down, on or off. So if you have any ideas, feel free to share them with me in the comments below. I'm experimenting here. I have all the things in this control panel, like the back wall. If I want to turn the back off, I could just, boom. I think that's all of them here. All right, so that's just the front. Now, if I turn the front off and I turn the back on, so that's the back, and then this is the front. I can do presets. I'll put a link in the description, but if you're interested, these are, I bought them on Amazon. So recessed ceiling lights, Bluetooth, SICSOG, SIKSOG, recessed lightings. Just plug them in. So I did all the wiring myself. If you do any wiring, if If you don't know what you're doing, hire someone. If you do know what you're doing, make sure you turn off the electricity, turn off the breaker, turn off the power in your room so you don't get shocked. Make sure you take all those safety precautions. I used to have a client that was an electrician company, so I learned a lot from them. I also switched out all the light switches in our house and did the wiring for those. So I had a bit of experience and I was confident enough to do it. But if you don't feel confident or you don't know what you're doing, I would definitely recommend hiring. If you do it yourself, I bought these on Amazon. They are lever wire connectors. This is what they look like. And what you can do is they have a little switch so you can flip them. So if you're trying to connect 2 ground wires, you just put the ground wire for both of them, or 3. You put them all in. Because with recessed lightings, you have a string. So you have the wires going from one to the next to the next. So you have to connect them. And the recessed lighting come with these type of connectors, which is limited to 3. So these are nice because if you need more, I had a few situations where I needed more. This one has up to 5. But these ones are just really hard to use. The wires come in and out. And because the wire, I think it's 12 gauge, it's not the most easy thing to manipulate. It's very stiff. So these were a lifesaver. When I did the first 4 or 5 lights, I used the ones that came with the recessed lightings, and it was just like a nightmare. And then when I switched to this, I was like, there's no way I'm going back. The recessed lightings, it's like this little box here, and then the light just connects to this. And then you run the wire, you can run it through the side, and then it connects to, you got the ground and the white and the black wires. And then you can take these off, and then I use the lever ones instead, and I feed the wires in. And then I install that right next to the light. So it was a lot of work, but it was definitely worth it. So with this new setup, I've got complete control over the lights, and I can do whatever I want. I can make it as bright or as dark as I want. With this new lighting, I feel like I got more of a cinematic look, a little bit more of layers and shadows. So I like that. But the backdrop and me look pretty good, and there might be ways I can push that cinematic look even further. One other thing that I did to help create that soft cinematic look is I got this diffuse fabric and I put that over the lights. And so that also helped a lot to give that feel, and I like the effect that it created. Now that you know my setup, tell me what you have. Does this give you any ideas? Is there any ideas you have for me that would take what I've done and make it even better? Share in your comments below. I'm Jason Scott Montoya, and thank you for listening.